In medieval England, power belonged to the crown, the church, or the sword. If you weren't born into nobility, your fate was to serve, starve, or die unknown. But one man defied that rule. He didn't wear armor, he didn't command armies, he didn't inherit a single acre of land. He walked into taverns, tasted beer, and walked out with secrets. And somehow, from the gutters of London, he rose to rule the greatest city in the realm. This isn't a fable, it's the true story of Richard Whittington. Imagine starting your life as a food safety inspector. You walk into restaurants, taste food, check the hygiene, make notes, and leave. Now imagine that, 30 years later, you run the entire city. The banks listen to you, the mayor answers to you. You're funding hospitals, commanding courts, and being remembered in legends. That's what Richard Whittington did in the 14th century. Richard was born around 1354, the third son of a minor noble. And in medieval England, that meant nothing. No land, no money, no legacy. He was the equivalent of a kid today growing up in a forgotten town with no connections, while the rest of the world is run by old money dynasties. So, he did the unthinkable. He went to London, the beating, chaotic, disease-ridden heart of the kingdom, and he took a job nobody envied. Ale conner, the official ale taster. Yes, it sounds laughable now, but in a time when clean water could kill you, and ale was the safest drink, this job was more than ceremonial. Ale was survival, and the man who tested it became the gatekeeper of trust. He tasted beer, yes, but that's not all. He monitored prices, fined corrupt tavern owners, interacted with every brewer, guild member, and merchant. And as he moved through these spaces, he didn't just do his duty, he observed. Whittington was a sponge. He listened to whispered deals in tavern corners. He watched who paid their debts, who lied about their grain, who borrowed from the wrong man. He saw where the money flowed, and more importantly, where it stopped. Think of him like a modern-day regulatory agent, except instead of filing reports, he was building a mental map of London's entire power structure. Then, slowly, he acted. He left the ale-tasting job and became a cloth merchant. He started making deals, lending money, forming alliances. And when he made his first fortune, he didn't spend it on vanity. He lent it to the king. And what does a king give when he can't pay back? Access, leverage, power. By the 1390s, Richard Whittington wasn't just rich, he was sitting at the table with men who thought they ruled England, and quietly pulling the strings behind them. And then the plague came. The Black Death hit London with ferocity. The wealthy escaped, the church buckled. London was rotting. But Whittington stayed, and he paid. Out of his own pocket, he funded food supplies, sewage cleanup, plague doctors, and housing for the dying. He wasn't just wealthy, he was essential. To the poor, he was a savior. To the powerful, a man who could no longer be ignored. So they handed him the keys. He was elected Lord Mayor of London, 3 times by the King's command and once by the people. He oversaw legal reforms, public sanitation, road reconstruction, and the founding of hospitals. He even built a public bathroom, one of the first in the city. Think of him as a man who went from food inspector to Jeff Bezos, meets the city mayor, meets your country's health minister, in a medieval world. And all of it started with a taste of ale. When Richard Whittington died in 1423, he didn't pass on a title, he passed on a city made better by one man who understood that real power doesn't shout, it listens. He was once just an ale taster, And yet he left behind hospitals, schools, public toilets, and a legend still whispered today. So the next time someone tells you your job is small, remember the man who tasted beer and ruled London.